Just gonna click. Okay.
Alright, Mad, so what do you think is an assumption or a misconception that people have about you?
This one I struggle with. I don't really know. Can I ask you?
Like, what's the question?
An assumption or misconception you think that people have about Madzia?
Or when you first met me, what did you think?
This pretty girl. This pretty girl who just, you know, like, there's this pretty girl privilege almost. So like, people are already drawn to her. Like, if you compare us to when we meet people are always drawn to Madzia. Not only because she's like sweet, but they'll be like, everyone, like Madzia will be insecure. Alright. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you have to get in there.
What?
Yeah, you coming in.
Why? Please come, please. Please come, please come. You can do it. Come,
Where's this shit going?
Should I take this off? Because it's like... What did you think when you first met me?
When I first met you, I just thought that's a really pretty girl, and you know, with that comes all these preconceived ideas of a person. You think, oh, you know, she's got it easy, she might be a snob, and it's not like that. Because, and I think it's not even just with you, it's with people in general. People always say, oh no, when I meet a person, it's you know, how they are towards me that counts. But it's not. When you first meet a person, the first thing you notice is their face. You know, you notice their physical appearance. No matter what anyone says of, oh no, it's because you're sweet. Even when you see, like, in society, there's the prettier people are the ones that get more opportunities. You know, with parents, it's crazy to say this, or even at school, the pretty children are the ones that become the prefects, or they get to become like pageant queens or whatever.
Yeah.
But when I got to know you more, I realized that you're more than beautiful. You are smart, you're kind, a bit too kind, a bit too kind. But yeah, I think, yeah, that's what I thought about you. You're more than your looks, as cliche as it sounds. I think I see you more beautiful now that I know your heart, more than I did in the beginning.
Oh.
Cutie. Okay, don't put that in, that's an inside joke. Yeah. Right.
Okay, so we'll just continue with you the rest.
Alright, how's it? I need to stop saying you.
Hundreds.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so how do you think the current society has influenced how you perceive yourself and other people?
Do you want to answer some and then I answer some?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think it also depends where you come from, because, for example, in Caucasian society or culture, I don't know, certain features are more celebrated than others. Like how you said, you feel self-conscious about your nose, you know, because most Caucasian people, you know, the Aryan race, how they look, the blue eyes, so whatever. And you know what, people do that all the time. When they find something that doesn't look familiar to them, they become uncomfortable and they just shun it instead of trying to include it and make it inclusive. And then if you think of like black people, the lighter you are, the more beautiful you're perceived. Asians, they bleach their skin because if you're lighter, you're most perceived as wealthier, you know. So I think, you know, when people say don't be self-conscious, it's almost like, how can you tell me not to be?
Yeah, you're like conditioned to be self-conscious because of society.
Yeah, you see in movies that the people that they show don't look like you, and then at the same time they're telling you to feel comfortable about yourself, but you don't look like these people. So yeah, and it's sad because like you said, it's your heritage. Like I look like my parents, you know. I am made in my parents' image and God's image, if I can say. So it's like, who am I to say I'm ugly? I wouldn't call someone else ugly, so why would I come around and call myself ugly?
Yeah. I think, so in English we're doing Invisible Man. It's this novel that we were prescribed to read, and the Invisible Man is the narrator of the book, and he's also the protagonist, the main guy, and he's not literally invisible, but figuratively speaking. So he feels as if he isn't seen for who he isn't seen for who he really is, because of things like stereotype and racial prejudice, that's the one, racial prejudice and stuff like that. And I think that's very relatable to us like in this generation, because of things like, you know, social media, people hide behind this facade of who they portray to be on Instagram, whatever other, you know, social media platform that you have, and then you meet a person face to face and you don't know how to talk to each other because they are so different. The person you talk to online or the people you see online are not the people you meet in person. And I think once you have that correlation, then we're going somewhere. But right now, I think people are stuck behind this image that they want to be or portray, because it's so much easier to do that when you have things like Photoshop, filters, when you can say anything online because you're not in person to defend yourself for your actions.
So true. Eyebrows.
Damn! I'll see this. Oh no, it's getting real. But here they come. This is just, wow. This is the real me wife I've been lying to you.
FaceTime, eh?
Yes. I'm crusty on FaceTime. Holy crap. Okay, that's... Okay. Let me just try and fix whatever. Okay, whatever. This is... Right.
Alright, so in what ways do you express who you are other than the physical? So it can be through art forms, through things that you like enjoy doing. What other ways other than, yeah?
For me, I think my personality. I always try and almost compensate for what I might lack by being the funny one, you know, by being that it doesn't, for me it's like, it doesn't matter because beauty is objective. You can think someone is pretty or they're not, but I never want to be that girl who I walk into a room and I walk out and people are like, oh my gosh, she's as dull as like flour, you know, she has no personality. It's better for me to like leave that impression of, oh, she's nice, or oh, she's funny, or oh, she's smart, than she is so pretty, because I mean,
Yeah.
we all have our own ideas of what beautiful is.
What's that thing you always say? Beauty is in?
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I think YouTube, because, you know, YouTube isn't an Instagram post. You can't put a filter over it. And I think with my YouTube channel, although it's like dormant, completely dormant right now, but I mean, I just remember how much fun it was filming those videos, because that awkward quirkiness that you see in the videos is really who I am in person, you know, like what you see is what you get when you watch those videos. So I think that's one thing. And then the other thing is, as cliche as this is gonna sound, I do enjoy posting things on Instagram, not because I care about who's gonna comment or who's gonna like. I like the aestheticness of the feed, and I like it when things look pretty and you have all your memories in a collective space. So I think in that way maybe I showcase my personality, but I think predominantly my YouTube channel for the personality is how I express myself.
Alright, face. Full face. Fine.
Do you have any? No, you have nothing. And your skin looks
She's
so
already...
good. Wow. And you look great.
I'm clean.
I feel like I have nothing on.
Me too. I was like, do you even have
What are you
anything
gonna
on?
take off?
I don't cake my face. You feel I just put like minimal foundation just to hide whatever blemishes there are, but otherwise, like I said, I don't know how to do a full face of proper makeup. Okay.
Now you're as natural as Bev. Alright ladies, so last question. At this stage in your life, what do you guys think is the most important lesson you've learned thus far?
I would say self-love. I think there's this quote I really love, and it says, you have yourself. And it's so important because I feel like at the end of the day, I have to be happy with myself, even if it goes against what other people want, because I will always only have myself. And life is too short to nitpick on the small things, and I want to be able to love myself right now, because I don't want to look back when I'm like, I don't know, 80, you know, and just look at a picture and be like, but I was so beautiful. Why? My nose was great, my forehead was great, you know, why did I always criticize that part of me? So yeah, I think self-love is very important.
Actually, can I say something else? Maybe that's not the biggest lesson I've learned. So much has happened to us since varsity started, because you're exposed to so much more than you were sheltered to in high school. And I think what I've really actually come to accept is that not everyone is going to understand you, and it's not your mission to please the world. You know, you don't have to justify, and this is where self-love comes in. You don't have to justify everything you do if it makes you happy. If you need to cut toxic people out of your life, not because you have cruel intentions, but for yourself, because it's the right thing to do at the end of the day for you, for you and for them, you know, you don't have to justify that anymore. And I feel like people's acceptance and validation is starting to become less important than it once seemed, because at the end of the day, you go to bed with yourself most of the time and you wake up with yourself. If you are not happy with who you are, then how can you expect anyone else, you know, how can anyone else's opinion be important then if yours, the person you are, isn't? Yeah.
Alright, thank you guys. It's the end of the interview.
Wow. Thank you. I don't know how to end it.